This is problem number 10 for the sample test problems for test number 1. A typical ringing telephone at close range has a loudness of 80 decibels. Assume that 20 telephones ringing at once produce a sound which is 20 times as intense. What is the decibel rating of 20 telephones ringing at once? So a couple of ways to do this. One way to do it is to sort of bring that 8 decibels back down to scale. We know that the formula for decibels is given by 10 times the log of the intensity of the sound divided by the intensity of the reference sound, which is 10 to the minus 16 watts per square meter. And so if we know that the loudness is 80, the 80 decibels, so then I can put over here an 80, and I can divide both sides by 10. To get that 8 is equal to the log of the intensity divided by the reference intensity. And so one thing that you might remember as a shortcut is that if you multiply the intensity by 20, then the intensity goes up by the log of that number, the log of 20. So if I find the log of 20, which I can type on the calculator, and we get about 1.3. I can then add that to the 8 that I found before, and we get 9.3. But then because this funny 10 times goes in front of the log for the decibel rating, if we multiply by 10, I think we get the new decibel rating is 93 and change. Okay, so we decided it was 1.3 and then we added the 8. So 93 decibels is the loudness of 20 telephones ringing at once. An alternative to this is to actually try to figure out what the intensity of one telephone is. So again, using your formula, number of decibels is equal to 10 times the log of the intensity over the reference intensity. If we know that the one telephone is an 80, we can again divide by 10 and we get 8 is equal to this log. And then this really means that 10 to the 8th is the log of I over I0. Whoops, sorry, it's really equal to I over I0. And then if we multiply both sides by I0, we get the intensity of the one telephone. So the intensity of the one telephone is 10 to the 8th times I0. But I0, remember, was 10 to the minus 16. And you can merge those together by adding the powers. So we get the intensity of the telephone ringing as 10 to the minus 8 watts per square meter. And if we want 20 telephones ringing, then our intensity is 20 times 10 to the negative 8. So I'm going to say this is the intensity of 20 telephones ringing. And so if I take that value of I and I stick it into my regular decibel formula, then I think we'll get our answer. So the decibel rating for the 20 phones is 10 times the log of the intensity over I0, 10 times the log of the answer we just got, 20 times 10 to the minus 8, divided by I0 is still 10 to the minus 16. And so I think we can type that into our calculator and get the answer. So we're doing 10 log 20 times 10 to the negative 8 divided by 10 to the negative 16. And if we did everything right up above, I think our answer should be right around that 93 decibels we got before.